Seen Rex. So it's great to have you here. I think we need to have more of these virtual discussions. I did not prepare a presentation because I'm always thinking spontaneous.
Well,
It's a Zambian thing.
I'm really thrilled, and I
But
must say thank you
so if you
to
see me looking at my small piece of
Rex
paper, it's a
and
development
Chioma for inviting
together.
me to be a speaker on this
Um,
webinar.
so,
Basically, this
Chioma has
webinar
done the
is
introduction. I live
organized
in
by the
Dusseldorf
lady
in
from the
Germany.
UK,
I have
and
been
it's meant
here
for
now for
150 plus
13
ladies from all
years,
over the
going to
world.
14 years
I've
now.
been invited to
I'm a
speak to
single
them,
mother of theoretically two
to
children,
pep them up and to give some
and
positive talk.
I run a business in
Rebranding post
Zambia or in
Covid-19, and I hope
Africa.
I do
Most
a
of my
good
business
job,
is in
and I hope
Africa,
I
but
don't
I'm
bore
based
them and
here.
get nervous talking
So
to
even during
150
this
ladies.
COVID,
So I
or
hope you'll
as we're
enjoy
talking
it.
about the
I'm going to do my best,
post-COVID
and I hope
crisis,
I
you
motivate
can
few of you
imagine me as a
to come out successful
diaspora
post COVID
whose
19.
business is, my mom was a bit harsh and was aggressive. And this is the same thing with sustainable development goals. A lot of us look at those things, we read them, but we don't take them seriously. We just think, oh, it's a UN thing, it's a UN topic. But if you look at the exactly,
nowadays, but I mean, most of us, our businesses have crashed. Me, for one, I usually do the annual festival, but this year I can't do it. So I have to think outside the box to be able to survive and strive and do something as a business. Um, so I'm the Busa, we worked together on the project in Germany. That was Keep Safe.
thank you. Keep safe, everybody. I hope and we pray that this will go over, but let's keep safe. Let's research. Let's get together. Let's empower each other through words, through action. And it all starts from here in the mind in changing, despite what the situation is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to right now introduce, sorry, the next speaker is here. I just want to introduce him right. Mr. Alwan Stephen is a self-made man. He began his career in the United Arab Emirates way back in 1985 as a salesperson. By sheer coincidence, in 1988, he got into the fragrance business, and from that year on, there was no turning back. He started his career in the fragrance business in 1989 as a sales executive with one of the leading perfume companies, Gardera Trading, Al Taha Group, moving on to the position of brand manager within the first 12 months. In the year 2002, Mr. Stephen decided it was time to move on after successfully setting up a distribution arm for the largest luxury retailer in the Middle East, Harris Gallery. Finally, after having put in over 15 years as a distributor, he decided to move over to the other side of the fence and represent suppliers, principal companies for the entire Middle East, GCC and Indian subcontinent, around 22 countries. It was during this time that Mr. Stephen secured consultancy agencies and master distribution rights for the entire Middle East, North Africa, and Indian subcontinent for some leading perfume names in the business, such as Paris Hilton, Guess, Sweet Army, Maria Sharapova, Andy Roddick, Jessica Simpson, Alfred Song, Hope Homer, Nicole Miller, Jibago, Perry Ellis, Kim Kardashian, One Direction, just to name a few. So welcome, Mr. Awe. You have the floor now, and I'm so excited. In fact, when I got your profile, I saw you on a photograph with Kim Kardashian. In fact, that's what just caught my interest. That's the wow, you took a photo with Kim Kardashian. I didn't want to read any other thing about your profile, just that you're able to take that singular picture Please take the floor and share us. Wow us.
Wow, wow, wow. Anyway, thank you, Chioma, first of all, for inviting me to be part of this webinar. And of course, I have to thank Rex, my dear friend, who actually got me introduced to you. Am I audible, first of all? I hope I'm clear.
Yes, very clear.
Awesome. All right. First of all, I may be a little nervous because when I was scrolling through all the pictures and I saw so many lovely ladies, I'm not used to speaking to ladies. I've spoken to probably 1,000 men or a mixed crowd, but just having, I think, 95% of ladies here except one or two men is mind blowing. Anyway, I'm going to do my best. I hope I'm clear enough. Vibosa, hi there. I know we're not only connected on Facebook, we've met a few years ago at an event at the Atlantis Hotel. And we've been friends since then. And thank you for continuing to be a friend on Facebook. First of all, Chioma, that entire thing you read has made me feel or look very old, yeah, because I came to Dubai in 1985. And those who have seen that picture of me on my profile and seeing me now, look at the amount of white beard, the white hair on my face. I'll come to that as to why it is that way, yeah? But nevertheless, ladies, I hope all of you, sorry, gentlemen as well, I hope all of you are staying safe, staying at home. It's a pity, with what's going on, but I think it's only a way for God who's showing us a reason to stay with our families, because someone like me, I travel, I don't know, probably 25, 30 times a year. And I hardly used to get to see my daughter, who today is 12 years old, but when she was 2, right till the age of probably 11 or 11 and a half, she hardly got to see me at home, and I only live with my wife and daughter in Dubai. So it wasn't easy because all the time traveling on business. I think it is a great break because we shouldn't be looking at it negatively. Yes, it's sad to see what's happening around the world. Everyone's affected. We have to pray for everyone. Some of us are lucky probably because we're staying at home. We have families. Some of them are without their families. They're stuck in different countries. Some don't have food. Some don't have place to stay. If you're watching the news and see what's happening in India, in Africa, and in many other countries, even a country like America, doesn't matter. People are losing jobs. Businesses are shutting. People are, going bankrupt. So all these things are happening. But I don't think these are reasons for, for us to feel horrible and negative and get dejected in life. I think we need to be positive. So I'll start off, first of all, you heard my name. It's Alvin Stephen. I'm in Dubai, and I'm in the fragrance industry. I've been in it for over 30 years. That's a long time. But I'm still only 30 years old, by the way. Yeah, so I started when I was born. I've been doing a lot of perfumes. I've done a lot of distribution in the UAE. Just living here and working in this country gave me an opportunity, to think to myself as, listen, if I could do something in one little country when we had a population of, I think when we started, we were probably 2.5, 3 million in the UAE. And if I could do this, I said, why don't I try the Gulf countries? And then I went out to the 6 Gulf countries. And I said, why don't I try the Middle East? So I went out to the Middle East. And then I said, why don't I try North Africa, which also is part of the Arab community? And then I expanded there. And I said, why don't I try my own country, which is the Indian subcontinent? So I ventured out there as well. And I took brands and started finding distributors in all these countries. Whenever you get bored of listening to my stories, please interrupt me. I'll stop for a minute so I give you guys a chance to speak as well, all right? So I'll come to my story and I'll tell you a small little story about myself and what happened to me during the last recession, so that I hope with this story of mine, I hope that this unfortunate Covid-19 that's playing on everyone doesn't put us down, but gives us all the more reason to look forward to what's coming post-Covid-19. Okay, so whatever has happened and happening is something that's going to be of the past. So let me start with just saying one thing. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Let me repeat it. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Yeah? Now, I always believe, I love playing cards for fun, of course, with friends at home and whatever. And I always realize one thing: when you're dealt cards, we cannot change the cards we are dealt. It's just how we play the hand. Some of us bluff, some of us cheat, some of us do all kinds of funny things. But it's how we play the hand is how we make it a game, isn't it? So we either win or we lose. It doesn't matter, but it's how you play the game. And I also want to say, you don't have to control your thoughts. I think you just have to stop letting them control you. Because when our thoughts control us, it plays on our minds. We have a major problem. We don't know what to do. We get confused. So don't let your thoughts control you. That's a very important thing to understand. Now, coming back to my story. Meanwhile, if there's anyone who wants to ask me anything, please feel free. I'll take a break. I need a few seconds as well. So I'm sure Chioma can come up and say, hey, Olvin, shut your mouth for some time. And then sure, I'll do that. Okay?
Okay, so let me just come in at this point.
Sure.
You know, when I read your bio, I saw that you experienced some kind of recession that happened, was it 2008? And you were able to bounce back. I mean, you've got 30 years of good experience in the business space. So I want you to, share with us, what should we as entrepreneurs be ready to do at this time? I mean, this one has hit us hard. We didn't see it coming. And what should we do? Should we have hope? Should we, just advise us from your experience?
Okay. I think it's better if I just start on my own story. I was about to speak about the last recession. You brought it out. Having been in the industry of fragrances since 1988, that's 32 years. As I said, I started off as a distributor, but then I said, if I can reach 22 countries, I think the world is small. At that time, of course, we didn't have the kind of technology we have today. There was no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, no nothing. So I said to myself, if I can reach 22 countries, why can't I reach the world? I mean, I've got access to it. It's all about you being determined, being ambitious, set out goals, and make sure you achieve it. So I decided to get into licensing when I had no clue about licensing. Please pay attention to what I'm going to say from now on, because when I decided to approach a huge corporation, you would have seen in the list of my fragrances I distributed, one of the brands I distributed was Hummer, the Hummer car. That was owned by General Motors. It was actually a license of a Canadian company. I went to Canada, met this company, somehow convinced them to give me the brand for the entire Middle East, North Africa, and India. They gave it to me, I don't know why. I proved to them I could do a good job. And believe you me, I turned out to be the best person outside the Americas, anywhere in the world, to make the best launch of a perfume brand, and that also a car. Okay? And with that, I decided and said to myself, if I could do that, I can do a lot more. I'm sorry if I keep saying I, because by listening to this, please get inspiration. Nothing can stop you if you have the determination, is what I want to tell you. So whether you're already a business lady or a new one who wants to start a business, yes, there's risk involved. It's a gamble, but calculated risks are always to be taken no matter what. You may lose in the beginning. If you continue and keep going, you will come out a winner. So if you're a new entrepreneur, that's the advice to you. Now, I went to General Motors. Of course, I wrote to them an email. I managed to get to someone at General Motors in Detroit, and I convinced them to agree to see me. I asked them, do you have a license on Cadillac as a Cadillac car? And they said no. And I told them, listen guys, I'm your man if you want to make this work. After 3 months of convincing them, they agreed to see me. So I told my wife, let's get on a plane. The two of us flew to Detroit. I managed to meet with 7 of the top people of General Motors, including the legal department. And I managed to speak to them and convince them that I was their person for the entire world to take on a brand like Cadillac. And I psyched them actually for probably a good hour about selling them the entire world, because typical Americans, they know all about America, but they didn't know about the Middle East and Dubai and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, because, in 2005, Dubai was still not on, it was on the map, but not that powerful and known. So I managed to sell them a good story. And in 2006, I signed a global license agreement with General Motors. Okay?
Wow.
And that was to design, develop, produce, market, and sell Cadillac perfumes globally. When I signed the contract and got the copy in my hand, I was shocked myself because I didn't believe I could do it because I went all positive and geared up. But when I got it actually signed and I had the document, which was like a Bible, it was, I think, 80 or 100 pages booklet. I had to go through everything. I signed it. I was excited. I made an announcement to the world. In 2007, I started working on the designing. Costed me a lot of time, money, effort, going crazy because, like I said, I had no clue about licensing at all. Zero about licensing. So I didn't know what to do, honestly. But, talking to people, searching, there was no big Google those days also, talking, getting information, friends, business people and stuff. I managed to come out with something. I was all set in 2008, mid-2008, to start rolling out my perfume globally. And there comes in the recession by the end of 2008. Now, during this period, there is only one show in the world called the Tax-Free World Association. I don't know if some of you who are listening and watching in today have probably attended this exhibition. It's in Cannes in France. It happens once a year in the month of October. The world comes to this show. I mean, no matter where you are, but anyone in the distribution of perfumes, cosmetics, skincare, watches, alcohol, tobacco, gifts, chocolates, food, they have to come to this exhibition, even if they're local distributors or they're from airports, duty-free, seaports, border stores, no matter what. I applied at this association because I was always going there since 1993 as a visitor. So in 2008, I applied for a small little space and they were very kind to me and told me, "Thank you for your application, but you're on wait list, we'll keep you informed." Guess what? A couple of months later, I realized that I would be on a wait list of more than 400, 500 people waiting to get a stand. And these people have waited even for 5 to 10 years to get a space at this exhibition because it's next to impossible to get in. So when the recession came in 2008, I was all excited and geared up to launch my perfume. And when I was planning on the Cannes trip to exhibit in a small hotel or somewhere, I went to Cannes, I met a lot of people, I started getting a few orders, and I was dejected, yes, because I was hoping to crack a big deal in a few countries. We came back in October, it was I think end of October, we were planning for orders by November, December, and by late December I started getting emails saying, "Sorry Mr. Stephen, I hope you know what's happening, we're scared, we're worried, things are going wrong, business is collapsing, we have to cancel our orders." And I was like, oh my God, I just started and I have to end. So I didn't know for a few days, there's nothing wrong in venting, ladies, please vent, there's nothing wrong. When things go wrong, we have to vent and bring our frustration out. Once it's out, it's gone forever, is what I believe. So put a mental block to that frustration and depression and look at it at the positive side. Mid 2009, without a single order in my hand, I had goods, I had paid for tools, molds, travel, and all kinds of things. I decided to go and launch my brand. During the recession, I went to Beverly Hills in Los Angeles, in California. I did a big black carpet event. Not a red carpet, mind you. I did a black carpet event. Why? Because it was depressing, right? But I said, hey, listen, black is also positive. So we did a black carpet event. I had a lot of celebrities who came in there. It was a huge success. No orders, only parties, champagne, wine, people, food, wining and dining. And then I flew to Canada and Toronto. I did the same thing there. Spent a lot of money to do this, got a lot of publicity, and we came back to Dubai without a single order. We lost a lot of money. But when I came back, I got a message from the Tax-Free World Association telling me that my application was approved and I was getting a space at the tax-free exhibition, October 2009. Now comes the best part. Why did I get in? A lot of the big groups and the big corporations, they pulled out citing business losses, no budgets, business was not going to happen, sales were down, people cancelling orders. What was negative for them turned out to be positive for me. I got my space. I could have turned it down because I was nervous. I was wondering how I'm going to pay. It cost us about probably $40,000-$50,000 for every exhibition. And I was nervous. I said, with all this, how am I going to pay for the exhibition? No orders, no business, nothing, total recession. I said, let me take it as it comes. My wife and me went, we exhibited, we shone, we had a big smile on our face, people came, people loved the product, things went on to the end of 2009, no orders, no business, doesn't matter. We lost 2007, 2008, 2009. And when I launched the first line, I had a few sales. Yes, I sold a few here and there, a little bit to Canada, a little bit to the United States, Russia, even in Africa, a couple of countries, a little in the Middle East, but not as per expectation. I probably was not even 20% of what my target was. So with heavy losses, and mind you, I have no bank borrowings, I have no overdrafts and LC facilities. So whatever I made during my working career, we pumped it back into our business. So we were literally down under in the red. But we said, hey, my daughter was just born, she was a year and a half old. I said, let's keep going, there's nothing wrong, I said. And we marched on. I came up with a new Cadillac fragrance in 2010. And Rex, if you're listening, I think I got you to smell it, if I'm not mistaken, called Cadillac Black. That fragrance, believe it or not, I wear it till today. After I've tried almost every brand in the world, including my own fragrances, I wear Cadillac Black since 2010, right to this day. That's my favorite fragrance. Wherever in the world I go, people ask me what I'm wearing. A lot of the comments, of course, are from women. Okay? Now, 2010 I launched Cadillac. We did pretty okay. It wasn't good enough, to help me make my losses back. But then I marched on, and that's when I started taking on other brands. I was lucky to get Kim Kardashian as a brand. I had her for the entire 22 countries. I brought her to Dubai in 2014. That boosted my morale because that gave me a lot of publicity, a lot of exposure. Cadillac, of course, took me worldwide because I had distribution going across the globe. Every corner in the world, people knew me. So if you Google Cadillac fragrances, Oliver Stephen, beauty contact, God willing, you'll see good things over there, nothing negative. But yes, my pockets were empty, couldn't help it. But Kim Kardashian gave me a boost, as I said. So when I brought her to Dubai, that helped me quite a bit. Meanwhile, I signed up One Direction, the most popular young boys, 5 of them. While I was launching their fragrance, they were in Dubai for a show. Unfortunately, just before the concert, one of them pulled out, so they were left with 4 of them. But we still didn't bother. We launched and did well. We continued. So what? And then I did Madonna, which I kept doing. I did a charity initiative. This is something you have to listen to. It was a charity initiative that was started by Nelson Mandela. God rest his soul in peace. He started this, and it was a lady who actually had the entire rights from Nelson Mandela himself. She had to come up with this charity initiative where they gave out licenses to people to create products. And these products were actually sold, and all the license fees went towards charities. And it was to build schools, it was for clean drinking water, and to educate women in Africa. So Charlotte is the lady who has been doing this, and she's been doing a great job. We did the license for fragrances. I did it, I think, for 3 years. We did fragrances on George Clooney, Daniel Craig, Lucy Liu, Kanye West, and Pink. But it was not their licenses, it was only their images and artwork that they drew, and the artwork was actually all about hope. So whatever they felt hope was is what they drew, and we used that artwork to create products. We did okay with it. We did as much as we could, whatever little we could, we did. And it was in 2016 when I sat down after we did Kim Kardashian's fragrance, and the American licensee actually ended his license agreement because Kim came up with her own fragrance after that, and she and Kylie have been doing fabulous with their brands. I mean, hats off to these ladies. I sat down one day when I went to sleep. I told my wife, I said, hey, listen, babe, why don't we do our own product? When I have the stand and the space in the exhibition, I exhibit, by the way, in Orlando, in Singapore, in Cannes, in Dubai, in Italy. And I said, why don't we do our own product wherein we build our own brand? And look at it. I mean, if I could go across the world with other people's brands, I can do my own brand as well. I woke up in the morning, sat down at my chair, my home office, which is right behind here. Of course, I created this just for y'all because I don't have my perfumes normally in the background, but now I'm working from home. I said, let me show you guys. I decided to come up with a name. We woke up together, from bed, and we just said, why don't we do something related to precious stones? So we came up with the name Precious Stones. But it didn't sound good in English. And we converted that, we translated precious stones into French. And guess what? We got the name Pierre Précieux. And that's how Pierre Précieux was born. It's called Pierre Précieux Parfum. I had no clue. I Googled it. My wife Googled it. Immediately we went out. I went to the trademark people in European Union. I trademarked it in 28 countries, trademarked it here in a couple of other countries. I got a designer, gave my ideas to him, started working on my ideas, designed again, did everything, spent money, and I decided I will go the high-end route, which was niche, because everyone was doing the typical celebrity stuff. And we came up with a niche brand, and our first line was called the Diamond Collection, which some of you have seen. Rex was with me in Dubai. He's seen the products, he's tried it, he's loved one of the fragrances, and so have a few others, I'm sure, who was watching this webinar. The product has done pretty well. We launched it in 2017. I started the development. Now please listen to this. Go back 10 years, exactly 10 years ago. 2006, I launched Cadillac. I got the license of Cadillac. 2007, I did the designing and development. 2008 was the year to actually launch it. And that's what I did this time. 2016, I started with the designing. 2017, we started with the entire development and the manufacturing. 2018, we launched. By 2019, I reached 11 countries, which is very good for a homemade brand. High-end, the product starts at $198 retail, $198 a bottle, and goes all the way up to $2,000 a bottle. So it's right behind me here. What you can see, if you can see a little bit, there you are.
Oh yes, they're so
good. That's the bottles. This is what I've done in rigid cardboard boxes as well as in wooden boxes. Okay. No more bragging about my perfume.
I have the male and female.
Pardon me?
Male and female.
Actually, the first three are, I don't want to call it unisex, but they're meant for anyone. If a woman wears it, she likes it, she wears it. So the black fragrance, which is the Black Diamond, which Rex has tried, he will tell you about it. It's fabulous. And I thought it's for men, but wherever in the world I went, women loved it. I even went to Russia. I was shocked because all the Russian women went crazy over this black fragrance. The pure diamond is unisex again. It's citrusy, so it's unisex. And the white diamond is more feminine. Having said that, I wouldn't wear it, but there are some who would probably wear it, so I won't be specific, but it works for everybody. The red diamond, as you see here, is a limited edition numbered collection. It's a bit on the oriental side. It's numbered and only 3,000 bottles in the world. Then you have the blue, which is also a limited edition, only 3,000 pieces in the world. And then you have this beautiful piece here, which is a black one with a lock and key, and that's for gifting purposes. And there are 5 juices that I created. All the 5 are pretty much unisex, okay? Leave the perfumes aside. In 2018, I started rolling out. I was all excited, and I had a plan. I set myself a goal by the year 2021, 2022. That gives me a good 4 to 5 years. I would at least hit 35, 40 countries in distribution myself, alone. I didn't need any help, any people, no staff, nothing. I knew the countries that I was talking to, and I was sure I would do it. And even last year when Rex was here, we discussed about launching it in Nigeria. And I'm sure I do very well in Nigeria. But when I got to 11 countries, I knew I would get to 35, 40 countries, and I was hoping by the end of 2020, I would at least get to 25 countries for sure. I started creating a new line, and that collection was being worked on. It's called the Pearl Collection. And I was gearing up, all set to start 2020. So by end 2019, we were still doing okay because nobody heard about the coronavirus. And early 2020, there goes my luck again, just like it happened in 2009 and 2010. But again, it's nothing to do with me, with anybody in particular. What has to happen has happened. Everything happens for the best. I'm stuck at the moment. I should be very depressed, but I'm not. You must be seeing me smiling. I'm happy. I'm stuck with a lot of my components, that's glass bottles and all the rest of the stuff in factories. It's all stuck over there, having paid for this. I can't do anything with it. I have inventory in my French factory because the products are manufactured in France. I can't do anything with it. All my orders, old and new and the future ones, cancelled because no one wants to buy perfumes. People are looking at, getting food, getting PPE products, that's masks, gowns, all kinds of stuff which is required right now. So I didn't know what to do, and I didn't expect this lockdown. A month ago, a little over a month ago, we had also a major situation where we were also asked to stay at home.
We'll have 2 minutes to round up.
Okay, good. So having said all this, I just want to tell you guys, listen, I'm still positive, I'm not going to give up, and I'm telling you, by 2021, I will reach my goal of 35, 40 countries. I'm going to keep marching on, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. You all keep the same thing going, keep the spirit, be positive, things will work out well. Again, a few things I've written down, I want to read to you. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. That's what I believe in. The secret to change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building on the new. Okay?
Right.
This COVID situation has given me a reason to stay at home, because of which I've learned to cook for the first time in my life. I took it for granted. My wife was doing it.
Your life must be super happy.
My daughter has learned to bake. I have learned to cut my own hair. I made a mess, but look at it. I cut my own hair. I never ever did this in my life. And for the first time in my life, I've grown facial hair. I never ever had this ever. So when you see me like this, it's because of COVID-19. Everything's going well. Everything's going to be positive. Ladies, fight on. And believe me, keep your positive attitude. Be determined. You will do well. By the end of 2020, the whole world is going to pick up. 2021, the world is going to shine. And so are we.
Right.
All right?
I believe.
Then with that, I end. Bless you all. Stay safe. Stay home.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just a quick question.
Sure.
Once we finish with and things begin to pick up, is your brand open for like distribution channels?
For sure.
Because, so I'm sure here we have people from at least 4 African countries. We have people scattered all over the world, that'll be watching. And also this is going live on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be there for everlasting. So people will watch it, and then we should be able to contact you for distribution opportunities.
Sure. Well, I'm also launching, during all this going on, I also came up with a new line. Just give me 30 seconds. I've come up with a new line, which I'll be more than happy to share with a lot of people who are here on this webinar. And if anybody needs to reach me, Chioma, you have my email address and my telephone number. Please feel free to share it with those who want it. No problems at all. I started working on designing. I've come to the stage of prototypes and molds, but I had to stop now because of the situation. I'm coming up with a new line, and that line is basically based on my true story. And it's called Alto. Alto means high. An eagle always flies high and never settles down, except when it goes down to pray for his food, right? So I'm coming with 3 categories based on aspiration, ambition, and achievement. And you'll see what I'm creating. It's a mind-blowing line, but that's going to be just about $120 a bottle. Anybody wants to know about it, please get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to discuss distribution opportunities or whatever that's out there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Alwin.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, ladies. Wish you all a good day.
All right. So quickly, I'll be introducing our next speaker. She's been here.